The first thing I remember is the way the hallway went quiet. Not the normal kind of quiet, but the kind that happens when people sense something ugly about to unfold and decide silence is safer than doing the right thing. He was standing too close, close enough that I could smell his cologne, expensive, sharp, trying way too hard. He looked down at me like I was something that had wandered in by accident. "You knew," he said loud enough for everyone nearby to hear, "because this school isn't really built for charity cases." A few people laughed. Not hard, not proudly, the kind of laugh you give when you don't want to be the next target. I didn't answer right away. I just stood there, my backpack strapped tight in my hand, feeling that familiar pressure settle behind my ribs, the one that used to mean panic back before I learned what to do with it. That was my first morning at Crestwood Prep. And that was the moment everything changed. I'd transferred mid-year. New city, new school, new promise to myself that this time would be different. I wasn't here to be seen. I wasn't here to prove anything. I just wanted to keep my head down, get through my classes, and graduate without becoming someone else's entertainment. Apparently, that was too much to ask. Everyone knew him. Evan Cole, star athlete, hallway royalty. Teachers smiled at him like he was already a success story. His parents' names were etched on plaques near the gym entrance. He moved through the building like it belonged to him, like the floors should thank him for stepping on them. And me, I was the quiet new girl with worn sneakers and a calm face that people mistook for weakness. "You lost?" he asked again, blocking my path. "Community schools are across town." I met his eyes. Calm, neutral. "I'm just trying to get to class." That should have been the end of it. It never is with people like that. He leaned in, lowering his voice, making it feel personal. "Listen, I don't know who you think you are, but you don't just walk in here acting like you belong." Something flickered inside me. Not anger yet, just recognition. I'd heard this tone before. Different voices, same insecurity dressed up as power. I stepped to the side. He stepped with me. That's when I realized it wasn't about directions. It was about dominance. He knocked the books out of my hands, papers scattered across the floor like confetti no one wanted. Someone gasped. Someone else looked away. No one moved. "Oops," he said, smiling. "Guess you're clumsy too." For half a second, my body reacted on instinct, muscles tightening, balance, shifting the old reflexes, waking up like they always did. Then I shut it down. I knelt, picked up my books one by one, and stood. I didn't look at him again. I walked around him like he was furniture. Behind me, I heard his laugh falter. That was mistake number one. From that moment on, he made it his mission to remind me where he thought I belonged. Comments in the hallway, jokes during lunch, little remarks designed to sting just enough that you'd react or shrink. I didn't either. Inside, though, it was loud. Because here's the thing, no one at Crestwood knew I'd already been broken once. At my last school, it started with whispers, then shoves. Then one afternoon where I went home with bruises I couldn't explain without shaking. That was when my mom sat me down and asked a question that changed my life. "Do you want to feel helpless again?" 2 weeks later, I was training. Not to fight. To understand myself. To learn control. To learn restraint. To learn that strength isn't loud, it's precise. So when Evan kept pushing, I didn't panic. I observed. I watched how he needed an audience. How his confidence cracked when ignored. How every insult was really a question. "Are you afraid yet?" By Friday, the whole school was buzzing. Cole's calling her out after class. "Did you hear Courtyard? She's done." A girl I barely knew slid into the seat across from me at lunch. "You should tell someone," she whispered. "He won't stop." I nodded. "I know. But you're not scared?" she asked. I thought about it. About the mat. About my coach's voice in my head. About how fear changes shape when you finally understand it. "No," I said quietly. "I'm not." That afternoon, the courtyard felt like an arena. Phones were out, circles formed, the air buzzed with anticipation and something darker, the kind of excitement people get when they think they're about to watch someone fall. Evan stood in the center jacket, off, arms crossed, grinning like this was already over. "There she is," he called. "Thought you'd run." I stepped forward and set my bag down carefully. My heart was steady, my breath slow. "I just want to be left alone," I said. He laughed. "That's not how it works. You don't get to ignore me." He stepped closer, too close. "You think you're better than everyone here," he said, "walking around like you don't owe this place anything." I tilted my head slightly. "Is there a point to this? Or did you just need an audience?" The crowd murmured. I felt the shift, subtle but real. His smile vanished. He shoved me. Not hard enough to hurt, hard enough to test. "Don't touch me again," I said. He scoffed. "Or what?" He reached out a second time. And that was the moment. I didn't explode. I didn't swing. I didn't shout. I moved. One step, one turn. His momentum did the rest. The world narrowed to angles and balance and timing. His feet left the ground. The sound he made when he hit it dull, shocked, echoed across the courtyard. I controlled the descent. I always did. In less than 2 seconds, he was on the ground, pinned, his arm locked in a way that made every movement useless. Silence. Real silence this time. I leaned down just enough for him to hear me. "I asked you to stop." His breathing was ragged. Panic replaced arrogance in his eyes. I stood, released the hold, and stepped back. "I don't want to hurt anyone," I said louder now, "but I won't let myself be treated like I don't matter." Evan scrambled up, rubbing his wrist, staring at me like I'd just rewritten the rules of his world. "You could have done that the whole time," he said, voice low. I nodded. I could have. But strength isn't about proving you have it. It's about knowing when not to use it. No cheers, no victory lap. Just understanding and shame. A teacher finally broke through the crowd, yelling for everyone to go home. The circle dissolved. People avoided Evan's eyes. A few met mine, curious now, respectful. As I walked away, the tension I'd been carrying for weeks lifted. Not because I'd won, but because I hadn't lost myself. Evan never bothered me again. Not because he was afraid, but because he finally understood something he'd never had to before. That day didn't make me powerful. It reminded me I already was. So let me ask you something. Have you ever been underestimated, not because you were weak, but because you chose restraint? And do you think people like Evan change? Or do moments like that just expose who they really are? Tell me what you think. I'm reading every comment.